And here's where, Pius and Rina, here's where I need to hear your heart.
Yes.
For people who have trusted people. Because remember you said it starts with people. People who are on the right path. People want to make wealth. People are they have been doing all of this. But the people who they gave this thing to have made
disappointed
them lose their future.
Yeah.
They've made them go back to Nairobi to start this whole journey again.
To start selling their time.
Imagine, you had gotten to one day, the place is there, meaning you're about to build a house. You know, you are happy. I'm never going to have to, landlord gone. I want us to speak to those people because, as you clearly have said, if they don't move, the one thing that we know for sure, despite their pain, despite their hurt, despite everything, the one thing that we know, they're making a deal with poverty. They have to restart, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But the people, the reason why they have to restart is because they trusted the professionals who. I want to hear your heart of this.
Yeah. So again, I mean, I've seen multiple clients who have lost money. Do you know, there's a gentleman, and I can speak to about him now. He was our client. And this gentleman was, when you look at stocks, whether it's, and those days, you know, some of the companies have now folded, whether it's KQ, whether it is KCB,
National
whether
Bank.
it is National Bank. Well, I don't think he had National Bank. Mumias, those ones. There are many.
It is only me who was in National
top
Bank.
10. It was only he was in
It's only me.
He was top 10, eh? Like single shareholder.
Wow.
And he made a mistake, okay? He didn't take advice. This guy once even called me, "You stupid monkey," because I disagreed with him. He was a billionaire.
What?
No doubt about it.
He called you what?
Can you imagine?
That's
He called me
hurtful.
that. I was so annoyed. I was so angry. But I said, "Oh, hey, wait, you see," because you don't believe me. Anyway, he ended up going bankrupt,
You bought
losing
in stock?
everything. No, many.
Many.
But what he was doing,
He was advising himself.
he was advising himself. He was working on market manipulation, thinking that if I can tell everybody that this is a stock that's going to do well, and it would work sometimes. The price will go up, and then I'll sell, and then people can sell after me, and I'll make money. It worked for a season. But you know what he was doing? He was using borrowed money. Okay, so he was in significant debt, but he was a billionaire. He was very wealthy. And then the market turned on him. And now the bank started saying, "My guy,
Where is my money?
where's my money?" He lost everything. He lost his businesses, he lost his wealth, and he, for a season, became depressed. But do you know he bounced back? I'm telling you. And this happened like at 50 something. The loss.
Yeah.
Are you understanding me?
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, he ended up passing away earlier this year. But he taught me a lesson. And what made him turn around was his mindset. He began to encourage himself. He used to send me some encouraging texts every morning. Every morning. But it was quotes from here, there, and everywhere. Okay? Which is, you know, okay.
It's
but
okay.
it's fine. But he went through a journey of self-discovery, of, you know, of healing. Because you get hurt and broken on so many levels. Me, who is a billionaire, now I have nothing. I'm having to depend on my relatives. Like, it got to that point.
Wow.
So I think the lesson I've learned from him is that you have to keep those who are encouraging you around you. Then you have to encourage yourself, whatever that looks like. Whether it means going to church every morning or going to pray, I don't know. Because he went into this meditation phase of, I just have to find out who I am. And, you know, and he started to get healing from this thing of loss and began to rebuild. So I think the first thing is talk to people who can help you. I also give you the story of a 52-year-old lady. So if you are out there and you've been jaded, you have experienced significant loss, you've lost your business, you've lost your home. Your husband made a mess and got into debt and you've lost property. Okay? Now, getting angry is fine and it's okay, but you can't stay there because that's not going to bring healing. Now, the question is, how can you get healing? It may start with getting some professional help, talking to a psychologist, paying somebody to help you process what you've been through so that you can move out of that hole and dark place to start seeing hope, that I can actually recover, that I can go back and start again. And you know, the beauty about God is that he redeems time. He can redeem time. For him, it might take you literally a year to recover. It doesn't mean that you have to take the same amount of time that you took.
Oh, wow.
Yeah? It doesn't mean that you have to take 30 years to get back to where you were before. It can be in an instant that once you learn the lessons you needed to learn, or once you get to the place of healing that you need to get to, now you have networks, you have information, you have knowledge, of wisdom, and so it will not necessarily take you the same amount of time to get to where you are. But you need to get out of that place of darkness because that will keep you there. And now then get the professional help to get you started. So get in touch with us, right? Either of us and our teams, and just go and sit and tell them, by the way, guys, this is where I'm at. I'm embarrassed about it, I'm sad about it, I'm angry about it, but I need your help. And you will get the help that you need.
Pious. And now because of the rain, utaongea kidogo.
Yeah. So, there is no investment without risk.
Say that again.
There is no investment without risk.
In fact, if there's no risk, it's not an investment.
So, in fact, it's good. You see, we are very aligned. I was going to say, if there was no risk, there would be no world of investment.
Yeah.
Because everything will be certain. Why do we say that? It's because investment is done with anticipation of the future. If you noticed yesterday, when Trump was declared president, we hit record high on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies because there is an anticipation that his policies are going to be crypto friendly. But the person who is investing today has already lost
The game.
the game. So investment, have you watched a race, people running, especially sprinting, and when you get to the finish line, it's called a picture finish. It's just the nose. You put your nose ahead like this and you're the winner, but shoulder you are together. Investment is exactly that. Who has the best sneak preview of the future? Because the future is uncertain. So if I have a better idea about how tomorrow will turn out, then I can invest better than Rina, and vice versa. So that's what makes investment a risky venture. In fact, one of the words that we are told never to use in my profession, because I'm a CFA charter holder, is the word guarantee.
Yeah, you
Guarantee.
can't use that word.
You can never use the word guarantee because even the government cannot guarantee.
Eurobond is not guaranteed.
No way.
No, not at all.
Fixed income.
The word is used is misused.
Yeah.
So anyway, I wanted to make sure that we get that out. So as long as you are investing, and everybody should, there is one question that you must ask yourself and be very comfortable with. What if I lose this money? There will always be
What if?
a possibility that you can lose money. Either you get less of it, or it can be wiped out. You get, depending on what happens. So that's a reality that no one should hide away from. In fact, I like asking people, if you lose this money, will you commit suicide? You know. If you can live with that loss, then you can invest. Okay. But now, so that one is standard for everybody. Whether you're investing in Nabo, investing in Faida, anything can happen. Anything can happen. I was very unfortunate to be caught up with Chase Bank collapse. I remember I was in the gym very early in the morning, 6 a.m. And as I entered the changing room, on everybody's lips was, Chase Bank has been shut down. Chase Bank has. I was like, what do you mean? That loss, I grieved for that loss. I grieved for that loss because we did everything possible to make sure we don't suffer such a loss, but it still came.
So even banks can lose your money?
Oh, yeah, my friend. In fact, if you've ever listened to some of my clips, you'll hear me saying a money market fund is safer than a bank account. I like saying that.
That's true.
Because in a bank, if a bank goes under, you lose 100% of what you had there. If a money market fund suffers
because of
a
what
loss
they've invested
because of what they had invested in that bank, it can never be more than 25%. So you still have at least 75% of your money. So a money market fund any day is safer than a bank account. From that day, those are lessons you learn from practical things. You don't learn them in school.
In theory.
I say that because I have experienced it. You get, eh? Anyway, I was very much involved in engaging the central bank and all the other stakeholders in recovering depositors' money. So I remember meeting some of what we were calling large depositors. It was a very small table. We were like 6 of us. And on that table, I think I was the only one representing an institution. The rest were individual investors. So I asked each one of them how much they had in Chase Bank. Do you know on that table, we had 10 billion shillings. 6 people with 10 billion shillings.
Okay, like 80% was Nabo.
No. Nabo had the list on that table.
Wow. In the bank?
In the bank. But that was not the thing that caught my attention. Is that all these people, all these individuals were smiling.
Because they had other money.
No.
Why?
They were okay to lose it.
Their mindset of money was very different.
Interesting.
I was grieving and I had the least money on that table. But these billionaires think extremely different from all of us. They were pained that they lost their money and their money was locked. But they understood it is not the end of their lives. And secondly, they understood that that money came through by applying certain principles and systems.
Yeah.
And they will definitely make more money.
Yeah.
They were in a cash flow system. Cash flow. Money, billion was just one of the cash flow. So if it exited, but there was more coming.
Wow.
Wow.
So that day, it is one of the highest tuitions I've ever paid in my life. But it taught me, if I want to be a billionaire, I must have a different mindset on money, and especially loss. Every shilling or dollar or pound, whatever you invest, whether it makes money for you or it brings you a loss, it always comes back with a lesson. And I mean every. Because, Rina, you've invested. No investment is similar to the other.
No.
Even when you make money, there were challenges. So I learned that I must be open. I remember, in fact, Dr. CK, the late Dr. CK, walked with me very closely on this journey of the Chase Bank collapse. And I remember one day, he saw me so troubled, and he told me, Pius, it's like he wanted to wake me up. Pius, you cannot live this life like you'll never face a problem. I have to embrace challenges. I have to be comfortable with challenges. If you want to be a billionaire or a multi-billionaire, you also need to be comfortable to lose $1 billion and still sleep peacefully tonight. That's a very different mindset.
I don't want to end that last chapter the way I ended it, and I rushed it a bit because of the card was being filled, and I need to change cards. So I want to go back there and let's close it nicely. There's something that you said, and there's first and foremost, investing and risk go hand in hand, because nobody knows the future.
Yeah.
And also, this thing I hear Rina saying it a lot, and also you, Pius, this guarantee thing that we have, there's no way you can enter this investing thing unless you change your mindset and understand risk is part of this. Guarantee is actually a red flag. If I hear you, Rina, say the word guarantee, can I?
Please run.
Huh?
Run away.
Okay, no, forget Rina. If I hear Faida Investment Bank saying guarantee,
Run.
run.
Yes.
If I hear Nabo Capital saying guarantee,
In fact, you'll never hear it.
We don't ever use those words. We're professionals, first of all. And our professional ethical standards and code of conduct does not allow us to use that word.
Yeah.
We can't use it.
The only one who can use the word guarantee is a prophet.
and even though there's some shoddy ones.
And I am not a prophet. Neither is Rina.
Okay, Pius, then how would you close this session? I just
So we have agreed. There will be no world of investment without risk. So anytime you engage in investing, you're anticipating the future, which no one knows with certainty except God and a prophet. So, and even the Bible says that the prophet also knows in part. So there's still a part that they don't know. So you need to ask yourself, what if I lose? What if I lose the money? What is the worst thing that can happen? And am I comfortable with that? And that's why we bring the issue of diversification. You say, don't put your eggs in one basket. So make sure you put your money in different pockets, and we'll come to that. So that's why we said again, why is a money market fund safer than a bank account?
because it is diversified.
Is because a money market fund, with one investment, you enter into a diversified portfolio. If you put money in a bank, you put money in that bank. So when that bank collapses, it collapses with your money. So in a diversified money market fund, you will get at least 75% of your money, if at all the fund manager had invested to the maximum.
And in that bank.
In that bank.
So when Chase Bank went down, you didn't lose 100% like the people in the room.
No. Any money market fund that had invested in Chase Bank only lost the portion that was allocated to Chase Bank. But did you hear of any money market fund that collapsed?
No, none collapsed.
None
One or two struggled to
Yes.
pay back, guys, but they did not collapse.
Yeah.
What Pius needs to also add is that allocation is governed by regulation.
By the regulation.
You can't just decide, I want to do a money market fund, I want to give maximum returns. Let me put all my money in this bond that's giving 18.4% and then I relax. You can't do that. There's regulations around which maximum portions that you can allocate to different investments, and they need to be short-term investments. If it is a different fund, there's rules around that.
Yeah. And the thing is, as long as you begin the journey of investing, you must remember it is a it's a game of return and risk. It's a game of, not just a game of return, it's a game of return and risk. Let me give an analogy. If we are driving to Mombasa and we need to be there in the next 3 hours, we need to drive at maximum speed. With some cars, it's actually possible. You can get there in 3 hours, but you really will be flying. When people see you on the road, you will literally be flying. Now, that's a fantastic thing. But the downside of it is if you hit a pothole,
Go on.
it is over. So when you see a product that is giving you a high return, you need to also ask the question, how fast are we traveling? And that's the question that I have found many people don't ask. You get? Chase Bank was offering the best returns, the best deposit rates in the market.
Almost the best. There was another one that was a little higher. But
And
yes, you're right.
But it was there,
Yeah.
isn't it? And there, check, anything that has collapsed in this market was offering almost the best returns in the market. That's a clear thing. It doesn't mean that it cannot happen. You cannot offer the best returns and be safe. I'm just saying one common characteristic among Ponzi schemes and other products that have caused so much grievances is around the return and their
consistent.
Consistently
high.
Yeah. Now, let me put it this way. If today I'm looking for an investment professional to work in my investment team, one of the questions I ask during the interview is, have you lost money? If you've never lost money, you do not qualify to work in our team.
You're not a risk taker.
Not even that. You don't have experience. Because there is no billionaire who's never lost money. There is no person who has succeeded in the world of investment and has never lost money. We all have our scars and our badges here. But those scars and badges did not kill us. They made us better. And so what did I learn with the collapse of Chase Bank? I learned one thing. When I engaged all the other billionaires who had lost money, that their joy did not come from the money that they had invested, but their joy came from the systems that they had put in place of creating wealth, that even though $1 billion or so was locked in Chase Bank, there was still more cash flow coming. And even if that was the last one, the system, they were so sure about the system that if they apply the same principles, which we are discussing here today, you will still bounce back and make the same money, if not more. In fact, if you look at anybody who has lost money and is a real investor, they tend to succeed far much more than when they lost their money. So what makes money for you is not the money that you invest, it is the systems and the fundamental principles, the pay yourself first, and making sure that your money is managed by professionals. It is those things that really assure us of making money.
So put your confidence not in the money.
Not in the money.
But in the system that you
system that you have put. Because if your system is tight, even when we lost money in Chase Bank, we went back to the system. How did this thing pass through our system? How did it filter through our system? And we tightened our system. We tightened our system. Say, this mistake
it's not going to happen
or
again.
this lesson, we'll never learn it again. So I thought it is important that we mention that. So there are two ways you can lose money. You put money behind people who cannot be trusted with money, and you lose money because of factors that are beyond the control of even experts. Like COVID,
Natural disasters,
natural calamities. Those things will always be at play. Economy, you said economy, those things will always at play. You can lose money because of those things. Now, we as investment professionals, we are comfortable with the risk of those things because we've been trained to manage money in all those seasons. But the basic thing that we should make sure all the people who are listening to us are very keen is to make sure you entrust your money with people who can be trusted with your money.
Pius, I wanted to add on and say, you gave an analogy of, let's say you are to get to Mombasa in 3 hours.
Yes.
A rally driver, that is their job.
Yes.
Do you get what I mean?
Yes.
A rally driver will get there. You trying to keep up with the rally, because they have the car. For that particular time, the road and the clearance has been done for that. Remember, we saw the rally.
Conditions are right.
Conditions are right for that.
Yes.
So a rally driver getting to Mombasa in 6 hours, there's a problem. They're driving too slow.
Yep.
So within the money worlds, I
That's
can't
true.
compete with you.
No.
You're the rally driver of this thing.
Yeah.
You know how to, when the rain comes, like right now it was raining, you know how to
Maneuver.
We know how to
maneuver
maneuver.
that.
Yeah.
You are geared to doing that.
Yeah.
You understand the system of doing that.
And that's where the value of the expert comes in. Not in normal conditions. It is in the, when things go crazy that you see, wow, I'm so glad I'm with Rina. I'm so glad because Rina saw it coming. I remember the global financial crisis.
2008,
2008.
2007, 2008.
We had just done our budgets in April, and in the month of May, I sat down with my team and we were looking at the global flow of funds, and we noticed a pattern. Money was leaving. I remember we saw it in America, we saw it in Europe, and then we saw it in Nigeria. And the moment we saw it in Nigeria, we knew it was coming here. We sold everything that we were having in our portfolio. You know, fire sale. In fact, we made some losses. In the month of August, there was 1 week, Nairobi Securities Exchange.
There was a halt.
We lost 100 billion in 5 days.
The country.
In fact, NSE even, there was a halt in the market.
Even there was a halt. You know,
Yeah.
it is a crisis when the
NSE
market
stopped trading. Just
We
said, guys, you need to cool off.
cool off.
Yeah.
But guess what?
You out.
We saw the trend coming, and we knew it was going to touch us, and we exited, and we are now holding cash. When the crisis hit, guess who was looking for us? All the banks. All the banks were looking for us because we
They
were
want
the only
deposits.
one with cash that could move. Everybody else was locked. We made crazy money. Oh, in a difficult season.
I want to actually touch on this before we move on to the next thing. And Rina, this is maybe, I want you to chime in. I had the guy saying, and this one baffled me, that when things are normal, we find it boring, as we like volatility.
Yeah.
Yes.
We make money when
When
things are
things
going
are
down,
volatile, yes,
when
or going
things
up.
are going up.
Yes.
We love crisis.
The direction doesn't matter.
Are you seeing the difference with you and us?
Yes.
Us as the people who've given you money,
like
we are happy when things are calm.
Yeah. Actually, when things are calm, we don't make money.
We don't make money.
But are you seeing? Are you seeing why professionals need this? I'm trying to show the audience. You guys get excited. Like now Trump,
Yeah.
American
This was a
election.
fantastic week, by the way. Like I'm just saying, those who have invested with us
Yep.
will make some good money this month
Why?
because of volatility.
Yes.
Look at this guy smiling.
And you know why? Do you remember I said that investment is about a sneak preview about the future?
Yeah.
So people took a bet on an US election. So people are saying, you know, if Trump comes on board, crypto will do well.
Yeah.
So yesterday, it was record high. I think the Bitcoin went up by more than $5,000 in 1 day. In 1 day. That's crazy money for somebody who had put some serious money. It is money to change lives. It's cash flow.
Okay, let's stop for a few minutes. We're coming back to continue. First of all, foremost, that's Mtitwandei. Are we Mtitwandei? We're almost arriving. Am I right?
Are we going at 6 hours?
No, it looks like we are. I'm seeing hope to the possibility of. Remember why we're having this conversation, guys. Don't get lost. And if you're joining us here, start from the very beginning. The question that I've consistently asked is, can I make money doing nothing?
Yeah, but I remember there's something we still need to come in the next one. On the where do you put your money that you're paying yourself first?
Let me walk you. I've got this casalo that I get. I have taken now a portion of that salary. I've paid myself. I have it. Now, I'm at the point of, where do I put it?
Yeah.
Where do I put it? So that I can get to my goal of doing nothing to make money? Because now I am doing something. I am taking this thing that I've been paid because I'm working, and where do I put this thing? That is the question. Pius, I'll start with you for this one.
So, when as a family we started paying ourselves first, the next question we had to ask ourselves is, where do we put the money? And of course, all money must land in a bank account. And I noticed something very interesting. Even if 10 million lands in your bank account, your bank manager will not call you to ask you how much you should earn, how much you want to earn. They will keep quiet. That money will earn zero.
Yep.
Because that's how banks make money, on your money. So, I was like, for me to make money in a bank, I've got to call them and negotiate a rate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me ask a question
So
here.
that already introduces friction, problem, and resistance.
Even by the time
For
you remember,
me.
I need to call.
Even
Then it's
to
engaged.
remember,
A
exactly.
month has passed.
Look into your camera.
Yes,
I want you to ask a very simple question.
yes.
Look into your camera and ask them. Ask the people watching. How many of you, one, have ever called the bank, have ever been called by the bank to be told about
How much they want to earn.
Okay, waulize.
Okay. Let me ask this question. When money lands in your bank account, how many of you have ever gotten a call from your bank asking you how much you want to earn on your money? Me, I have never gotten that call.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting. But I realized, because I have to call a bank to negotiate a rate, there are 43 banks plus in this country. So to find the best rate, which banks will I call and which ones will I not call? That was introducing a problem for me. And I learned a trick. Money market fund. Money market fund is a place I park my money, and I've used that word very tactfully. I park my money as I decide what to do with that money in the long term.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, the moment that money lands in a money market fund, it starts earning. And I do not even negotiate a rate, because the fund manager works for me to give me the best rate, and they are all trying to beat each other to make the best returns and to report the best returns to me. And I found that works in my favor. So whenever money lands in my bank account,
Straight.
I never even think twice. In fact, it is already preset in my online banking platform. Select that Nabo Money Market Fund.
Okay, let me ask you.
Yes.
Nabo Capital pays Pius Mushiri a salary.
Nabo Capital pays salary.
Because you work as an
Correct.
employee of Nabo Capital.
Correct.
But they pay that into a bank account.
It goes into a bank account.
Now you're saying some of that money
Yes.
leaves your bank account to go elsewhere.
That money, the first person I pay after the government has taken my money is myself.
Oh, so this is your pay yourself first.
Yes.
That now you send to.
I send to Nabo Capital Money Market Fund. And I don't care what the rate is of that day, because I just know from the moment that money lands, it starts earning.
Yeah.
And the other thing I like about it, I cannot go on an ATM and withdraw that money,
Yeah.
because I've had too much fun on a Friday, and now I've run out of money and I need to access more money. You know, I like the fact that I don't have an ATM on it. So that money is put aside, and the money that remains in the bank is purely for transaction.
Give me an example of what
For
you
example, the money that I need to pay for rent, the money I need to pay for fuel, the money
School
I need,
fees.
Okay.
the school fees, the money that I need to transact. But any money that is not for transacting is out.
Okay. Rina, let's park there. Park there.
So money market fund is a place where we park money
Yeah.
and earn interest while Well, it's a place we park money while and earn interest while we decide what to do with it for the long term. Which purpose? Now we'll get into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rina, what we're talking about is this pay yourself first. That money, you've paid yourself. How does it work in your world? Break it down.
So for me, it's not even about a salary. I get an allowance for sitting on a board and it's sent on M-Pesa. Or I have whatever money that comes.
Any money that comes, exactly.
5K,
you're going to do a talking.
20K, 50K. I've gone to do a speaking engagement and say, oh, we'll just give you fuel. We'll just give you a stipend, 15,000. I say, it's fine. Okay. A portion of that money, the first thing I do, money market. And then, because first of all, there's money that I know I have that we need to spend for the month, okay? And so what we do is, we put money together. Okay, I have come to learn we are a unique family. My husband and I put money in the same account. And then from there, money goes out to the different places. But I also earn sometimes in my own capacity, outside of a salary.
Yes.
I do not ever not, like I've come to the place where I don't see money as small. I have extra money on my M-Pesa and the first thing I do is check, okay, who do I need? I need to buy veggies, that one I leave. The rest,
you pay yourself. So you're saying you pay yourself with even 2,000 shillings?
Yeah.
Yes, even 1,000.
Yeah.
That's money. And 1,000 and another 1,000
you
tomorrow.
Guys are here,
no, let me tell you.
It's a fundamental principle.
Is looking at you different.
It's a principle.
Oh, this is part of the system.
This is
It's
the
a
system.
It's not about the amount. I don't wait until I have 100,000.
No.
Then
It's
I
a
put in
system.
10 Gs.
No.
Even 1,000 bob will go
Even
into a money market.
1,000.
And a money market can take even how much?
It depends. There's some that take 100, there's some take 500, even 1,000.
Using
depends.
tunes, you can put 5 bob.
5 bob.
Yes.
There you go.
Okay. So, and this thing, the reason you're not leaving it in your M-Pesa, for example, why aren't you leaving it into your M-Pesa?
Oh my gosh.
By the way.
So first of all, the needs are so many. I feel like, I want a pizza today, or I feel like an ice cream, or I don't know, there's somebody who has, not that I don't want to give, but there's always a need for money.
Cash flow.
Yeah, there's always a need. And so if I'm not careful, I'll just find, I'd promised to give I had done, there's this thing. It just goes. And so the problem with it being on M-Pesa is that it's very accessible. When I don't have it on M-Pesa, I make my decisions a bit differently. I don't know whether it happens to others, but for me, even when I have cash, because I also use cash, even when I have cash in my wallet, I have to be very careful about it, because the more cash I have, this is just a freedom, a freeness that I get. I have money. I mean, it's there. I can spend it all. Or it's only 500. I mean, it's like I don't have guardrails. And because that's me, I have to put in a system that ensures my money just goes. Because if it doesn't, then I'll be at the same place 5 months from now.
Money market makes you stop a bit and think, because you can't get the money
Like
instant.
I don't even remember that it's there, by the way.
You cannot.
Because I don't see it. When I go on M-Pesa, I need to send money. I'm like, oops, I can't. So let me delay that purchase. Because I don't have it on M-Pesa, I'll have to move money again from the bank. So let me do that later. But if it's accessible, I'll use it.
It's so funny she's spoken about M-Pesa. Have you noticed that when you have money in your M-Pesa, it's like people smell it? Or if you have a fat bank account balance, it's like the whole world conspires and they can smell that
We
you
are
have.
There's some tubes available.
There is idle money hanging, and the moment that it's like it's a world system or something. you just find the money just going. It does not matter whether I withdraw 50K into my M-Pesa or 100K or $1 million, Bob. I can assure you, in the next 1 week, it will disappear.
And you know, the funny thing is...
And I cannot explain how.
It gives guys security
Yes.
to have money in the bank.
Yes.
They feel...
Full
I remember
sense of security.
I remember telling a client, no, you have too much money in your current account.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to see where do we take money, where do we put this, where do we put that. She's like, I need 3 million. I'm like, for what?
Idle money.
In the account. Why? No, it just gives me a sense of safety.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it will be safe.
Yes.
In this
And in
other
a money
place.
market account, honestly speaking, you can get your money back within 24 hours
Yeah, you
to
can.
48 hours max.
Yeah.
So if it is something so important, and I have done it so many times, a quick notification to my fund manager, the money
You're
lands
credited.
in my bank account within no time.
Yeah.
You're doing nothing.
Mm.
The money should not be doing nothing.
Mm.
The money, in the word that you have used there,
Yes,
is idle.
idle.
You can't be idle and your money is idle.
Yes.
Explain the different places
Mm.
people have idle money. I think that's the question now.
First of all, let me just address something very clearly. Idle money is a big problem. Again, we talked about this as a currency. When you keep money idle, the whole concept of the dam starts to come in,
Yep.
by the way.
You have blocked
Because
the
you
flow.
are a poor manager. Are you understanding me, Richie? When I'm looking for who am I going to give an opportunity to manage my resources, if I look and I see Richie just keeps it here, am I going to give Richie?
Nada.
Never ever. If I see Aizo is, oh, he's put it there, oh, he's done that, and I'm looking for a manager for my money, I will go to the guy who seems to know what to do with it. And that's what happens with money. All of us are stewards. We are managers of the resources that God has given us. And I can promise you, if you're not doing something with what you've already been given, the money that you have money sitting in your account doing nothing, you will not get more.
Okay.
I'm just telling you. But if you get into a habit of making sure that that money leaves, you're going to get more. It's a river that flows. It's a currency.
Eesh, today that thing of cash flow has blown my mind.
Yeah. So anyway, what was your question?
So my question then becomes, where then do I put this idle money? Or actually, no, let me start with it. Where are people currently putting
money idle?
Idle.
Yeah. So there's bank accounts. A lot of bank accounts.
Number
It's in
one.
billions.
That's
Trillions.
number one.
Hold on. Say that again.
Yes.
It is trillions of shillings
Yes.
are in bank accounts
Yes.
idle.
Idle.
In fact, let me put it this way. I did this study of total bank deposits in Kenya for the last 20 years. And there was no year it ever declined.
Oh, wow.
It has been a consistent rise. Yeah? And now it must be over 4 trillion shillings. So those are bank balances in deposits.
And not being used. And probably the biggest percentage of it is not for transactions.
This is the 500 bob you leave in your bank account, the 1,000 bob, and some people who just want to see a big bank balance of 3 million shillings so that they can go to the ATM and show their
smile.
girlfriend, look at my bank balance. Those are the people enriching the banks, but they have formed a dam.
Yeah, they have.
And money is not flowing. There is no cash flow because it is not multiplying. It's a case of talents. Jesus' parable on the talents. When he gave people, the 5 people, the talents, and some hid it under the ground, others kept it, others grew it. When he came back, who did he reward? The ones who multiplied. The ones who multiplied. Because even
Before
Jesus,
you move on,
Yeah.
what did he call the one who did not multiply? Who put it in the ground? You wicked servant. He didn't lose the money.
He didn't lose
he
the
didn't
money.
lose the money, but he was a wicked servant.
No. Just say that again. He did not
He didn't lose the money.
lose
No.
the money.
Yes.
He just did
Returned
not
to the money that
multiply it.
Yeah.
he did not multiply it.
Okay, that means
And it was told, the guy who's, look at you, wicked, foolish man, give it to this one who has multiplied the most.
he would even have rather, if he lost the money, I'm sure he would have given some money because he tried to
He
do
tried
something.
Okay.
So money, this is important. You see, the Bible says that the love of money is what?
The root of all evil.
Is the root of all evil. It says the love for money. It is not money.
No, it's not the
They're
love of
not
money, it's the love of
It's
money.
the love of money.
Yeah.
The people who like to see big bank balances, they are obsessed with the money.
Yeah, actually, you idolize it.
Elon Musk is not obsessed with money. Elon Musk is obsessed with what he can do with the money. Multiplying it.
That's insane. That is so insane.
He does not care about money. He's like, in fact, this is what he was quoted saying, that to him, money is a means of exchange. He uses money to produce goods and services that solve human pain points. That's what wealthy people do. What do the rest of us do? We take money, we hold it so that we can meet our small kingdom expenses, and therefore our money never flows. But if you use your money to create a big solution.
Do you know, that is such small-mindedness. And I've been there, by the way. And the other day, let me just share this.
It's actually poverty mentality.
Completely. I was having a conversation with a very serious Kenyan. Like, in this media space, he's a top honcho. So I tell him my strategy. So I want to start doing webinars and I'm going to charge money. And so he starts listening. Okay. So then he told me, you know, that's nice. But how about you did them for free? I'm like, for free? Pious. I'm taking my time, my effort, my everything.
A lot of preparation.
He's like, but Rina, so many people need your help. Why don't you just give it for free? And now your client is not the guys coming for the webinar. Your client becomes now these guys who need to reach those guys. And so your mathematics completely changes. And I was just like, oh my goodness.
You move from a place where it is 1 + 1 is equals to 2
to multiplication.
to 1 + 1 is equals to 200.
I'm telling you.
The
It's a
math is not
mindset
mathing.
shift, because I'm just like, no, I need to make, you know, that mindset is a problem. Now, how can I change my thing to I need to make money to how can I help people? The math completely changes.
That's it.
You know, I want to come.
We are messing people up today.
Even you're messing me. Okay, people. I am people. People is me. So here's the thing. I want, you know, every time you guys are speaking, there are words that pop up. This word called multiplication. It is our next video we are going into.
We didn't finish that one in the last one.
No. There's a way that you have spoken about it that I've realized how am I thinking about multiplication. But here's the thing that I want us to say. Bank accounts is one. Let me ask. Chamas, circles.
Oh my gosh.
Chamas have a pool of money. Fine merry-go-round, it goes round. But just explain to me, are there other places where this money remains idle?
Yes.
I'm trying to
I'll tell you the biggest one. Land.
Yeah, that's a big one. I was actually going to say land.
Maguta.
Don't say that. I know.
Maguta.
Maguta.
The biggest, the place where most of our money is lying idle is in idle land.
That's a pain point, by the way.
Yes.
A big one. Just 2 weeks ago, we got visited by some guys who are in the diaspora. And they were brought by a relative who was trying to tell them, guys, you need to get out of land. Or no, not get out, but diversify. Because you buy this land and it just sits there. Half these guys who buy land have no idea where it is. They've just talked to a company, been told, oh, there's land, it will appreciate. You go to that land, it is in some bundu somewhere. There's no strategy for what I'm going to do with that land. And so you lock money in it, and that money is not growing. It is stuck.
That you have to pay rates.
That you have to pay rates. You have to pay, well, depending on where the land is, okay? So the point is that, why don't you put your money in something that can generate more money? The idea is you have to have your children, your money generate more. Your money has to generate more children. If it is not, then you're not, that is idle.
There's something you said.
The biggest, trying to frame this properly and kindly, but the biggest contributor of broke billionaires is land.
Dead assets.
Yes.
The big,
I'm very particular about using the word billionaires. There are so many billionaires who are actually broke because 90% plus of their assets are in
Land.
idle land. And when I mean idle, it also means, it does not necessarily mean zero cash flow generation. It is where you have land worth, you have properties or land or properties worth $1 billion, but you are generating 2 million. That money, if you just give it to Rina, you completely change the mathematics. Your lifestyle changes instantly.
Completely.
Instant.
The amount of people you can help by then, the impact you can have is amazing.
And without doing much.
And your money still remains
And
intact.
your money still remains intact. So, and I learned this very important thing, and let me just say it here, that the greatest wealth or inheritance I can leave my children is not assets, but cash flows.
Okay. Fafanua.
If you look at why many of the so-called the rich families in our country, when the generators of wealth pass on, why people fight, is because they were left assets with no cash flows. So they fight about the assets.
So they can sell.
So that they can access the cash flows by selling the assets. But if you leave your children a healthy dose of cash flows, they don't even care where the assets are, because the assets are definitely optimally managed by professionals. If I leave my 1 billion with Rina and it is generating 200 million shillings every year, my children don't care about the asset and who is managing it. They care about 200 million is coming into our bank accounts every year. And I realized that's where we need to switch the thing. Inheritance is, the best inheritance is cash flows. Because your children are most likely not going to be able to do what you do today, and probably not going to be able to be even interested in doing it. And then they also have their own individual missions and purposes, which are quite divergent to what you do today or how you created wealth. So if you give them a platform of cash flows, then you allow the experts to continue doing what they are doing very well, and the assets to continue being there, and your children to pursue their individual purposes.
I want to add one more thing to something you've also said yourself.
Yes.
The second greatest, in fact, it's the other way around, before the cash flow, is knowledge and wisdom.
Absolutely. Time.
For your children.
Knowledge, yes.
In terms of inheritance.
Exactly.
So that they...
Most transferable form of wealth is knowledge.
Knowledge. And then the cash flow.
Wow. Hey, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot, but it's fighting the mentality and getting us on the journey. Remember, end of the day, we're on a journey to get to the place that you've just spoken about, where we can then leave a generation money while they are doing nothing, earning money. Because the question that I started this whole series with was, can I make money doing nothing? Now I'm hearing about examples of people who are doing it. I'm hearing, yes, you can get this money, but put it in something called idle. In fact, before even I close this, is there somewhere else?
where you
Where it's
people
idle.
put money
Yes.
that is idle.
Yeah, you mentioned it actually, and I've experienced this myself. It's chamas, and chamas that find it difficult to execute on a strategy effectively. So you put money somewhere, and you keep putting it every month, and then it just does nothing. And so, and I don't know what it is. Sometimes, we try and we want to be able to grow this money, but then we're not agreeing and so on. And so you lose time. And so I've begun to realize that I'm only going to do things with a chama that I can't do on my own. But this thing, we're sitting somewhere, Pius gets on in August, I get money in January. What is this thing?
It is true.
And by the way, I completely understand
The
merry-go-round. And there's people whose
It
lives
has-
have been transformed
Yeah.
by the merry-go-round. It has its place in
there's
certain
more.
circles, and it works for certain people. But we need to move from that being our primary source of sustenance to putting that money in something that can. So yes, you get your merry-go-round, you get your money back, but please invest the money. Don't just use it to buy crockery or to finish building, I don't know which part of the kitchen.
Even from the merry-go-round, pay yourself first.
Yes, because you're not paying yourself first by just having this money move around and then you spend it. So find a way to then create this money to generate more money.
Oh, Rina, the merry-go-round can pay itself first.
It should.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
And each person as a shareholder of the merry-go-round, then maybe the dividend later on can come in.
Yeah.
But the merry-go-round, if it's looked at as an entity, can pay itself first.
It can.
Yeah, and the problem is the merry-go-round is just a way of mobilizing funds, not a way of managing funds.
That's true.
Okay.
So what all chamas should do is to link up with a money market fund or something so that that money is not, the pride is not, let's give 10 or 15 or 100,000 today to, and the joy is, I have 100,000 bob. What we should be telling Rina, we have sent into your money market fund account 100,000 bob.
I like that.
Because it starts earning today. But if I give her today, and it takes first of all, half of that money will be gone by the time she gets home. Because needs appear from nowhere.
Comes on nicely.
I'll realize,
Yeah.
my fuel is on red. Oh
And
my goodness.
That's an important thing I've said. So there is another thing that we discovered with our money market fund. We have these clients who have given our money market fund account details to the people who pay them. So it acts like their bank account.
You just wire the money there.
So if I owe Rina money, instead of sending it to her bank account
Or to my M-Pesa.
or to her M-Pesa, I send it to her money market account in Nabo, and it starts earning money immediately. So I actually even have some people who, when they pay me, I tell them, you just send to this account. I never even know they have sent money. But when I look at my statement, I'm like, Allah, there was a deposit. And it is not just a deposit, it has come with children. So the same thing we need to bring into chamas. We need to upgrade our chamas.
Take it out to the next level.
Take it to the next level.
There's a
Okay.
place for
It's a
chamas.
fun-
It's just that
a
we need
beautiful thing.
to. Yeah.
But we now need to take
Yeah.
chamas to the next level where they are plugged into these financial products that are making money for them while they are having their tea, and they should be discussing returns, not principal.
This applies to table banking as well.
Yes.
It applies to table banking
Yep.
as well.
Yep. So here's the thing even that I know about some chamas. Some chamas have, let's say you're given 5 Gs a month. We are going to take a 500 shillings for that trip we are going to do. But that 500 shillings can now be sent into somewhere where it is not idle.
Yes.
So the concept of this episode that we've just had the pay your money fast.
Yep.
That money that you pay yourself fast with,
Mm.
the thing that comes with that money, it should never
The idol.
be idle.
Never. That's an important one.
And now I want to take it to the next level. Multiplication.
Before you get there,
Ah.
I want to say something that I think is also very important. Once you start paying yourself fast, you now need to go to another step where you need to know, to monitor how much that pay yourself fast is becoming, which you call net worth. You get, eh? You need to monitor if I've paid myself fast for the last 30 months. How much is it? And I like asking this question to many people. Do you know your net worth? And it amazes me that people actually don't know their net worth.
I am very cognizant that you're giving it for free because you want people to get there. And where is there? You want people to get to the point where people, cash flows, time, all of that has been redeemed. And we're trying to answer the question that I asked in the beginning, and that is, can I make money doing nothing?
Yeah.
And what I'm really asking is, can I be doing the thing that I want to be doing, have it even be CTA, and knowing that this is even financed
Yeah.
without having to struggle and change this kind of content just so that I can make money to do the content that I want?
And you know the person. You know an example.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
So here is the thing. In this place, you talked about something called, before we ended, it was fire. You said the words net worth. And Rina was like, oh my God, talk about it. What is this that we may not understand about net worth?
Yeah, that's a good question. Allow me to jump onto it. Today is Thursday. Thursdays or Fridays, if you are on Wayaki Way, you'll notice something. Matatus or, these PSVs with a coffin on top, on the carrier, and household items. You'll see tables, you'll see nini, all of them tied together. I don't know that it's just me who sees that.
Yeah, I've not noticed.
But because, in Western, burial takes a couple of days, and these road trips, they do have to do these road trips. So I've noticed they carry all these belongings to this person who is in the coffin. And I keep asking myself, what does this represent? And it hits me so hard that this is all the belongings of this person. So then it begs the question, I come back to myself, do I know my net worth? If today I was to be, people were to say, let's take Paz's things back to up country, what would that amount to? And I've asked this question many times, many people, and 9 out of 10 do not know.
9 out of 10?
Do not know. And even the 10th one, they have an idea, but they don't have an accurate answer. And the reason is because when you start paying yourself fast, and you don't have a clear strategy and a clear direction of where you're going with your pay yourself fast, then you start spreading your seed. So today, you put money in land because people are buying land. Tomorrow, you put money in cryptocurrency or Bitcoin because you've had a friend is investing in Bitcoin. The following month, somebody comes up with a brilliant idea to join an investment group, and you start contributing to that investment group. By the time it is 3 or 5 years, you cannot manage, you cannot even remember the things that you have invested in.
But you said diversify.
It's true, diversify.
Yeah, but
it's true, diversify. But diversification must be also manageable. Okay? So, what I've realized this thing, because when I started putting together our family balance sheet, I would go to sleep, and as I'm sleeping, I wake up, I'm like, I forgot an asset. I forgot something. I forgot something that is in Lamu. I go, I put it on the Then I'm driving. I'm like, oh, I have 50,000 bob in my M-Pesa. I forgot to put it in the spreadsheet.
Yeah.
And I started realizing, first of all, do you know what you're not tracking can easily be stolen?
Yeah.
So that is one way we have idle money, because money is just getting stolen. We are entering into these investment groups where there is absolutely no accountability. There is nowhere we are going. It is just a social gathering with the comfort that we are putting money together. But there is really it cannot help me to achieve what I am not able to achieve by myself. So this has become another source of idle money, because it creates chaos in our finances. In fact, let me just give this example. I had a meeting somewhere in Upper Hill. It was I finished the meeting around 5 o'clock. And as I was exiting the building, I called one of my friends. I remembered one of my friends used to work there, and was actually the managing director of a major insurance company in the country. So I called this person. I said, hey, I am actually in your building. By any chance, are you in the office? He's like, come on in. I went up. I sat down. And as I was just settling down, he told me, Pius, everybody knows Pius, and Pius is around, we talk about money. Pius, I've been in this office for 14 years. I have done a lot for this company, but I do not see myself making any difference from here. So, but I'm scared. I'm scared if I leave this job, I will not be able to meet my obligations. And I was like, I took out a pen and paper, and I started asking him questions. I said, do you have any children who are still in school? He said, yes. How much do you pay school fees? We wrote down. Do you have a house? He said, yes. Okay. How much does it take to run your house? We put down all his expenses. Said, okay. In fact, we came out with a number, 300,000.
A month.
A month. If only he had 300,000, if anyone could see somewhere he gets 300,000 every month, he would have been ready to retire that day. I said, okay, fine. Now let's put that aside. Let's find out what investments have you made. We started putting his assets or investments together. Oh, I have this, I have this, I have this, I have this, I have this. Like, we came up with a total value of his investment and how much he needed. And guess what?
It was more than enough.
He had all the money to retire. He just did not know.
Yeah. He was making money doing nothing.
No.
Probably
land. He had assets.
Okay, I get it.
Spread in so many places that he could not monitor. He had never seen it in one picture. It is the first time it fell on him that he had enough assets to retire.
Oh.
2 weeks later, he called me, said, Pius, guess what? I've handed in my resignation.
Wow.
And I'm getting, to make things even better, I'm getting a golden parachute. He was getting money for retiring early. He left. We started a portfolio for him. We started paying him 300K. Before we could finish 3 months, he was already identified by the president and was given a job as a chairman of some commission. Now he had income coming in. He called me, said, Paz, now, first of all, thank you. I got back my 8 hours. I redeemed my 8 hours. I bought back my 8 hours. But now I'm getting this money from somewhere else and other things that I'm doing. Can I just tell Nabo not to be sending me this money. I'll be surviving on this. I said, no. The idea was to buy back your time. We will continue sending you this money. You, when you get money that you don't need, put it in your, so that you depend on your portfolio, not on the things that you do every day.
Yeah.
I don't know. Every time we meet, he tells me, thank you. He is doing what he loves every single day of the year. And he is young, he retired young. He's like he had a moment to reinvent himself. And that's just one of many stories that we have. But the point I was trying to make, the reason why he had not retired until I sat down with him is because his assets were spread everywhere.
And he didn't know.
And he could not be able to monitor. So the lesson here is, please make sure, even though you are diversifying, make sure you have a money manager. Consolidate things with your money manager. And I say, let me know what land you have. Let me know what you have. Let me know how much you invested in Irina. Let me put it together for you. And then we can look at it. Even though I'm not managing everything, I can tell you, by the way, you see, if you shift this asset to this, you'll have this. Yeah? Let me give you one more story.
Before you go to that story, there's something very powerful in tracking.
Yes.
And
Tracking.
the truth is this, a lot of times so that story is great, and maybe somebody doesn't relate with it because he was an MD somewhere, he's not earning 100K. But there's something so powerful about tracking, because what happens is that these small, seemingly insignificant changes we're making in like 24 months completely change your life forever. But if you're not tracking, you don't know what you're doing. The key thing is consistency. I was reading somewhere about a guy, and this guy learned a recipe on Food Network. And it was a recipe for muffins, and he made them one day for his family, and his kids loved it. They were like, oh my gosh, it's so yummy. So he was like, hey. So he started making them frequently. And then now his kids would have one, but then he started eating. And then he started learning more pastries and started eating more pastries. And now he continued eating those pastries. And then he started feeling, oh, I'm getting a bit sluggish. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to go for that walk that I normally go with my wife.
It's a compounding effect.
And then, I won't go with that walk with my wife because I'm feeling a bit tired. And so then the effect of not going for the walk outside with the trees and fresh air, his stress is increasing. And so now performance at work is being affected. And then he's having to stay longer to do the same amount of work. And so now he's not going for his walks with his wife, and he's not performing well. His wife is missing him now because he's not coming for the walks. And so his marriage starts to take an issue. And
everything is...
and it started with one muffin.
Yes.
These small, insignificant steps that we do nothing or do a lot with completely change our life over time. For the first 18 months, maybe even 20 months, you see like nothing. But there's something it just does this way or this way that then completely change your life for the good, better or worse. Now, the tracking helps to get to that place faster, because now you have a purposeful way that you're making decisions because you're making them from an informed place.
Absolutely.
The moment you're not tracking, you're either doing nothing, you're not making a decision. The assets go idle.
The assets go idle.
So for somebody who, what I'm hearing you say, for somebody who may be hearing this for the first time and like, oh my God, that is me they're talking about, I am it. The first thing that you'd advise them to do is what? Sit down and write
where everything is.
Exactly.
What do I have? How much do I have in my M-Pesa? How much do I have in this account? How much do I have here? Where is my land? What's the value of that land? What assets do I have? And then how much do I owe? I owe Nyaga, my veggie guy. I owe the school.
Yes.
I have a loan with I don't know which circle. I have this. No, what do you owe? Because even with debt, by the way, when you don't have a handle on what you owe, it just overwhelms you. And then you just do nothing. You don't create a strategy. You're just overwhelmed. You're hiding. You're not taking calls. You just want to go underground. But the moment you know, it's like you begin, your mind starts trying to figure out, how do I make this thing better? What can I adjust? What can I do? Let me make this call. This person will help me. And you start working.
Let me be taking these 2 Gs from here.
Right? You begin to create a strategy, even if it's small steps, but you start making the steps towards being better, getting out of that hole, or improving where you are.
Yeah. It's so amazing. I have noticed something with our customers since we started doing investment plans, investing with purpose. Because this is not like a money market where you just put money. You have a 5-year goal, and we work towards that 5-year goal. In all customers who have had 5-year goals, without any exception, all of them have hit their goal before 5 years. Now, this is something we've been realizing when we have what you call our quarterly meetings, like in the 3rd year. And it's not because we are making extraordinary returns. It is because of how much they underestimated their capability to contribute to the fund. And let me give this example. They have this gentleman who called me from Bahrain. He had just been posted to Bahrain. And he's like, Piers, what is the minimum investment in Nabo? I said 1 million. Those days, it was 1 million. He said, there's no...
Now it's...
Now we can even have chums with 5 bob. He said, before he could finish the statement to tell me it is too much, I told him, you will be the first one in Nabo Capital that I'll make an exception for. I asked him, how much do you have? He said, 20,000. I told him, I'll make an exception for you on one condition, and one condition only. You commit to put money in that account, which belongs to you, not to Nabo Capital, every month, something. And he committed to put 20,000 every month. Somewhere along the way, like 3 years later, we are sitting down and we are to review his portfolio. His portfolio was at 7.2 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, the profoundness was not the return that we had made. We had made good returns for him. But it became the place where he swept the M-Pesa accounts, the M-Pesa monies that used to disappear, the bonus that comes at the end of the year. It became a place where all the money that used to go idle and disappear unaccounted for was going. And to the client, they have this sudden realization, oh my God, so much money has been passing through my hands and I didn't know. Why? Because of this one word called tracking. The moment you start tracking, as you said, the mind starts figuring it out. The mind starts finding solutions and like, oh, you know what? I've had a speaking engagement somewhere. I've been given 50K. If I push that 50K, my contribution that month goes
Sorted.
Double. Somewhere I've just received dividend from a company that I'd forgotten, or my circle. Oh, 200K. Boom. Before you realize what you had set out as your 5-year goal, you've achieved it in 3 years. Because you have no more leakages. And that's the importance of tracking. If you don't track, you develop idle money.
What?
If you track, you develop active money.
Ooh. What do you do? Okay, somebody has tracked.
Yes.
Tracking on its own will give people solutions. they'll begin to realize,
Aha moments.
That part,
Awareness.
yes, aha moments.
Awareness,
Yes.
yes.
That piece of land that I have that has just been chilling. Kumbe the valuation went up. Kumbe there's demand in that place. It's not even from a negative side of it's idle. Kumbe there's demand for it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I can sell it for double. It's time for me to exit because now I can move into this. I was looking for school fees. So I like that you said tracking, because on your own you'll get to understand that asset
Yes.
that you had stopped focusing on because you're in life.
Yeah.
Number two, I'm hearing you say, once you have all that information and you don't know what to do, kumbe there are people's jobs who know what to do with this.
Yes.
People who know how to turn idle land into active.
Yes.
So not idle land, idle money into active money. And engaging them can now help you get right decisions for where it is that your life is going into. So diversification is you completely recommend diversification, but what I'm hearing you say is you should know about the diversification that you're doing.
It must be taking you somewhere.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, and I'm going to say it on camera. For the last 5 years, I've had one simple criteria for any investment I make. Will it bring me cash flow next month?
Wow.
If it does not bring me cash flow next month, there is nothing to discuss. Because it's a game of cash flows.
Wow.
So even if you're selling a business to me, I want to buy cash flows. You get? Whatever you do, and that's the thing, once you move your eye from the cash flows, you start getting into these pet projects and things that are not taking your family anywhere.
Yeah, some people are going to get upset with you today. When we come back, we are going to now, I can see, is that palm trees I smell?
Can I say something about one other thing that I found on tracking?
Yes.
When we started tracking our family balance sheet, we started also realizing what is our borrowing capacity.
Oh.
How much are you capable of borrowing? Now, the problem is that we have been cultured that we borrow based on payslips.
Yes, on cash coming in.
Yeah?
Oh.
Or cash coming in. But it is your net worth, when you remove all your assets and your liabilities, that dictates what you can borrow and how much you cannot borrow. And that's what has put so many families in trouble, because they borrowed based on a payslip.
And secure loans.
And then that payslip is taken away,
Yeah, then it
and
becomes
you
a
end up in
mess.
trouble. Any borrowing we make as a family, we are ready to pay it when it is crisis time. We can wipe it out and continue and readjust. And that's another amazing benefit that I've experienced with tracking our investments.
I want us to continue. Now, there's this thing that I saw you, Rina. Rina, do it again. You did it in the last video.
So in fact, the last video I didn't do it properly. It first starts like this. Flat line, and then just does this.
Hey.
Or it starts like this. And then after like a long time, it does this. So for a while, you might be two people doing the same, not doing the same thing. But you can't tell there's a difference. You can't tell for a long time, maybe 18 months, maybe 2 years. You can't tell. But then suddenly, you're in two different worlds. Planets.
Okay. Let's have that conversation around multiplication.
Yeah.
Because we don't just want this money to do something small. We don't want it, first of all, to be idle at all. And then you can start doing this thing, and every day you're calling, so niko happy? And that's a thing that is very typical with Kenyans. Paya said check, but there's a way where there's something called instant gratifications that we want. But you said, you're calling every day to find out, where am I? This thing is not working. Multiplication takes time and it happens. Explain to me this multiplication from your world. Compounding, multiplication, whatever it may be. Let's just have a conversation about how it works.
I guess it's with everything. It's not just money. If I want to learn to do a push-up, it will take, okay, for me, it's taken me a long time maybe to do one push-up. Now I can do a push-up. But it's taken long, like almost 2 years. Like, I don't know how come. Because I don't do it every day. But I started with knee push-ups. I went on to knee push-ups. Then I raised my knees. Like, it just takes time. You keep going. And then suddenly you can do a small one. Then you can do it. I can't still do the one where your chin touches the floor. I can't, but I will get there. The point is, it's slow, consistent things that you do in your life that help you get to where you need to go. So let me use numbers so that it's an example that can make sense. So if I chose today that every month I will invest 5,000 shillings, and I do it every month without fail, every month, and I get an opportunity to put my money away at 10% per annum. Okay, so I won't go crazy, just 10%.
10%,
just 10. But that's net, yeah? So fees taken care of, taxes taken care of, 10%. And that money is growing at this account consistently, and I'm able to compound it.
What does compound mean?
That when it earns interest or a return, that return, I don't withdraw it, I leave it, and that interest earns interest.
Ah, okay.
Yeah? So if I have 100 shillings earning 10%, at the end of the year, I have 10 shillings. In January, I'm not starting with 100, I'm starting with 110 because I didn't withdraw. I start with 110. Then the 110 earns another 10%, it becomes 121. So when I'm starting January the third year, I'm not on 110, I'm on 121.
On the second year, you earned 11, you didn't earn 10.
Exactly. I earned 11, I didn't earn 10. Now, as you keep going, it becomes magical. So if I took 5,000 and did that, 10%, in 35 years, Richie, I'll have 17.8 million.
Wow. 17.8?
Yes.
From 5,000?
5,000. Now, what is interesting to notice is that the 5,000 times 12 times 35 is 2.1.
2.1.
The rest, 15.7 million, is interest earned.
Okay. You're saying from your 5,000 put in every single month for 35 years,
yes,
all you have put is
2.1
million shillings.
You know, idle cash.
Yes.
When we're talking about
Yes.
idle, if I had it in my bank account earning 0 interest, I'd have 2.1 shillings in 35 years.
2.1 million shillings.
Yes.
If it was 0% interest.
Yes.
So you're saying the compound now is
15.7. So I'll end up with 17.8.
Wow. So, Rina, okay, let's now use a real life situation. Around episode 1, you told us a story about a guy. A guy who used to bring you 2,000 shillings. Then he came to remove money. Did some of it compound?
Of course.
So he
was adding more, but there's also the beauty about compounding, and he continued. And by the way, when he's removing the 2.8, it was not all his money that he's removing.
It was just some.
It was some. And then he came back and continued. And continued. Today, we can't even sit on the same table. Do you understand me?
I get it.
Like, he's on a completely different plane because of simple, consistent steps. In fact, I usually say, I saw this somewhere, wealth is equal to an income of any kind.
Any kind?
Plus consistency plus time. 20 years ago when I met this guy, who was my client, did he earn more than me? No.
He didn't?
No. Today, does he earn more than me, passively? Most definitely.
Passively meaning doing nothing?
Doing nothing. From dividends, interest, rental income. Because he's grown his wealth so much more because of consistently putting money. Simple, small steps. That's why we did that line like this. For a long time, we looked like this guy was
like nothing is happening.
What kind of clothes he's taking a matatu. He's not driving the best cars. He's not, he's such a loser. Then suddenly, shwa. And you? You understand my point?
I get it.
Yeah.
Okay. Pius,
Yeah.
I want you to chime in on this. It sounds like the best time to invest is yesterday.
Yes.
Actually, it's your parents should invest with you when you're conceived.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. Please chime in on this compounding thing. There's a saying that you like to say. It's the eighth wonder of the world.
It's the eighth wonder of the world.
It is.
Yeah, and I like giving this illustration. If I had 1 million shilling today, and on one hand is 1 million shilling, and the other hand is 1 cent, 0.01 shilling.
1 cent.
1 cent.
Uh-huh.
And I give you an option. You take the 1 million and go in peace. Or you take the 1 cent, but the 1 cent will double every day for the next 31 days. Which one would you take? A cent that doubles every day for 31 days and 1 million shilling. Which one would you take?
Because I know what we're
They even
talking
made
about.
notes, right?
So,
I think they should choose.
but when I ask this question in a room, people always go for the 1 million because it's unfathomable.
Yeah, even just look. I mean, what are you asking?
Yeah, it's unfathomable that 0.01 shilling or 1 cent will ever get to a million.
Pius, on day 2, that 1 cent will be
2 cents.
2 cents. On day 3,
4 cents.
on day, give me the 1 million. I understand why people can think like that.
You get, eh? You go like that. So we are here. So the answer is, on the 31st day, it will be 21.4 million shillings. The 1 cent. You cannot compare 21 million shillings and 1 million. And I know it's a rather extreme example, but for illustrative purposes, it's very important for us to be able to understand what compounding means. So there are a couple of things to pick up here. First of all, is 31 days. This ndururu, or 1 cent, will multiply for 31 days. Now, if it only stopped multiplying on the 30th day, it would not be 21.4 million. It would be 10 point something million.
Yeah. So that's
1 day difference.
Yeah.
So let me put it differently. If Esther decided to take the ndururu tomorrow, not today, and I took the ndururu today, on the 31st day, Esther will be worth 10 point something million. I'll be worth 21.4 million. What does that mean? It means time. We are back to time.
we're back to time.
Time is the biggest thing here. The biggest warfare against us is our time. So the best time to invest is not tomorrow, is today when someone hears this message. Because one day delay, you may never catch up with it. So let's take somebody else. Maybe Esther, Rina, delayed making the same decision by 5 days. Let's look at what will be the impact.
5 days.
Yes.
So
So
imagine only 5 days. Not
only
even
5 days. On the 30th, on the 30th day, it will be 10 million. Isn't it? Eh?
Yes.
On the 29th day, it will be
5 million.
5 million.
2.5.
On the 28th
Oh my.
8th day.
day, it will be 2.5 million.
1.25.
On the 27th day,
1.25.
1.25. On the 26th day,
Is it 7?
it will be 600 and something. She would rather have taken the 1
The 1 million.
The 1 million. 5 days out of the 31 makes all the difference. It is what changed the 1 cent to be better than the 1 million.
But yet it's not what changed. It's the consistency.
But exactly. But so the thing is, the long-term game is a long-term game. You need to stay in the game. If
With
you
whatever amount.
with whatever amount.
It doesn't matter the amount, by the way.
Is with whatever
Research
amount.
shows, by the way,
Yes.
and this research was done in the US, that the average dollar millionaire in the US took about 28 years to get there.
To get there. You see, so time is a factor. So if you gave up on the 25th day and left the scene,
Oh my.
you would live with a bad deal. But if you only waited 5 more days,
Imagine.
you would have felt
Imagine,
the full.
let's just keep at it. Whether
the
it's
full-
exercise, eating well.
So it's a long-term game.
Oh my.
The other thing that's lesson number 1. Time is critical. Number 2, it is not how much you have. It's not about how much you have. It's about starting to invest now. The person with 1 million who does nothing with 1 million, and the person with a ndururu or cent who does something about it, the one with the cent will win the game for sure.
Yeah.
So let's put it in practical sense. There are people who are working and they're in, they're calling it C-suite.
C-suite
Right,
jobs.
yeah,
C-suite
By
jobs.
the way, to tap it
There are
down now,
people-
you know, let me
There are
wait.
people in
I can
C-suite.
speak for days and
There are people in C-suite
Umeshika roho
jobs.
arena.
Yes. There are people in C-suite jobs right now. They're hearing this message, and they're earning millions,
yeah.
but their expenses match their millions
Or even exceed.
or even exceed. And there is that lady, the tea girl in your
I'm
office
telling you.
who is charged to bring tea to your table, but she has discovered that you like an accompaniment called mandazi. And it is that out of her own volition. She makes mandazis at home, wakes up at 5 a.m. in the morning, makes mandazis, and brings the mandazis. 1 packet of mandazi, of unga, she doubles. And she doubles the value of that every day. She sells that mandazi to you. In fact, when you don't have money, she insists that you take it on credit. Because she can afford to loan you.
Yes. Ndio,
But
look,
it is only 5 bob or
Yeah.
10 bob or 20 bob. And you are like, I'm a C-suite guy. This 20 bob, I'm just helping this young lady. That lady is guaranteed to be your employer 20 years from today.
You know, just to speak to C-suite guys, there's a guy, this is another one that changed my life, and he doesn't even know this. I'll not say his name, but you know him. Wow. He had similar role as you know, MD of the car he drove. Guys used to chekelea him, The way that he lived his life, guys, I was like, are you even being serious right now? At the age of 40, he said, thank you very much. Now he lives another life, We can only dream.
He redeemed his time.
He redeemed his time. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Mm.
You do? I'll tell you after. He
But-
redeemed his time.
Yeah.
Lives on the coast of this country, just enjoying, living
Living the life. Exactly.
living
And
the life.
and the thing
He
that
understood the game.
He did.
Money is a game. So, number 2 is, so the first aspect of compounding is
Time.
Yeah.
The second aspect of
doesn't matter the amount.
it is whatever you have is enough.
Yeah.
The third,
Wow. Whatever you have is in.
whatever you have is enough.
But I might be listening to this, and I don't even have enough to meet my
Expenses.
expenses.
Yes.
Now what do I do?
Can I tell you something that one of the things that I did early on when we had this amazing conversation with this financial consultant, I realized I used to pay so much money for lunch, and I used to leave my lunch at home. A very nice dinner that had been cooked. From that day until to this day,
You carry.
You can say I'm a seafood guy, but I carry food.
Do you send your PA to the car to get your lunch for you?
I carry for myself when I can. And by the way, I saw it even with CK, the late Dr.
Seriously?
CK. He used to carry his githeri. And you say, Buyers, are you in the office? I say, yes. Come, we have lunch together. And I go, and we have githeri. My friend, the thing is this, the people who, billionaires understand the value of money. They have no show off that we are going to this restaurant or that restaurant. When they want, they will have it. But don't judge them by one time you see them in the restaurant. They understand when to do it and when not to do it. Their usual days, they will carry their food. So a simple thing like just carrying food from home is enough to put 100 shilling in chums, and you start your journey. The third one is, remember, this cent was multiplying every day, and the 1 million was not earning anything. So it was multiplying. Now, I know 100% may be a lot of money, but even 10%, like the example you have given, you know, demand a return on your money. Idle money is an acceptable and a crime.
It's a crime, actually.
In the journey of creating wealth. In fact, it is what you just said it correctly. Jesus said, this is wickedness. You have been entrusted with the resources, you are a steward, and it is earning zero, it is not multiplying. Even God is not happy with you about that. Because you're depriving families. You could have created jobs and done many things. So demand a return on your money. As long as money is multiplying, it will always create children. You asked very interesting, what is compounding? Compounding is the first money that you put. Okay, let's take the 1 cent. On the first day, the 1 cent, the second day it gets a child, the third day it gets a grandchild, and it keeps, it becomes grandparent. Because, and the children become grandparents, and so everything is feeding each other. It's a system. And the idea is, you do not eat the seed. You eat the child. But you have to wait for the child to give. And the thing is, the idea is, the money that when you pay yourself first, that becomes a seed. That seed gives birth to a child. And that child gives birth to another child. And now this is what becomes now. When it gets to that place, Urina was doing like, zoop, the children are so many. You know, have you seen these clips maybe on Instagram where they say, this is how it started. And they say,
yes,
a husband and wife. And then it became like this, then the children come. Then it became like this, the children come. Then it becomes like this, until they can't fit in the picture.
Yeah.
It's a compounding effect.
Cooler that great grandchild. You're saying do not eat the seed that plants the tree. That becomes a tree.
That becomes a tree.
Wait for the fruits.
Wait for the fruits.
Wait. That is the word.
Yes,
Wait.
because it's a kingdom principle that we are here to multiply. We are to multiply. And to multiply, something must be put down. There must be a sacrifice. And that sacrifice is this thing you say, I'm paying myself. To pay yourself is to say, I'm not going to be having lunch in my favorite restaurant. I'm not going to be buying my Porsche car. Do you know, our first 10 years of marriage, it meant we lived in a neighborhood that, like that guy. Because we had to live on one income, the smallest income.
You had to downgrade.
You had to downgrade.
Before you upgrade.
You had to downgrade. So you create this room. So that is compounding. The 8th wonder of the world. How a cent can become 21.4 million. You can do that in anything. anything like what you've just described.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a story of a little girl that I read about, a Kenyan from Western. And she did really well in her KCSE. She was actually third in the county. But she was from a home that was not very well off. Actually, mom was a single parent, couldn't actually afford to take her to high school. So she went back to her primary school and told her headmaster, could you just be coming every day, spending a few hours in the computer lab? Because they had a computer lab. And her, you know, she was a star in that county, and so he was like, yeah, of course. I mean, no problem. Come an hour a day, just feel free. So she would go, and so she was doing research, just trying to see what do I do with my time. And she did her research and put together some sort of a proposal, and she went and saw her headmaster, and she told him, I've done some research on these rabbits, and they're called New Zealand rabbits. It's a breed, and from what I've seen, I think I can do some business to help me pay for my high school.
Mm.
And he was like, really? Okay. How much money do you need to start? How many rabbits do you need? Blah, blah, blah. And they talked about it, and she said, I just need 50,000 shillings. Where can I get 50,000? He was so impressed by the work she had done. How old is this child? 14. That he said, I will lend you the 50,000. Let me just tell you, this girl bought the rabbits, put her together a rabbit house for them. And you know how rabbits give birth and have children very quickly. And in no time, she employed a lady from the village where she was from, and then got another one, and got another one. And before long, she had a community project that was doing well and became sustenance for the women. Started with one woman, 2 women, 3 women. When she was 16, I don't know how this happened. It was probably through the research that she was doing. So I don't know how it happened, but she was identified by a school in South Africa called ALA. Do you know she was given a scholarship? And high school, pre-university, taken care of. And her project has become so big in her village, helping women become economically empowered. She's now in a university somewhere in South America. I don't know whether she's now doing PhD. But the point is, it started with an idea.
Yeah.
What did she have in her hand? Time. And a computer. And because of the time that she put there, then she was able to get the seed capital for this thing that she ended up doing. I think, again, going back to one of our first videos in this series, is mindset. And just thinking, how can I do something that can make a difference? Bring me some kind of income that then I can use to multiply. Yeah. So we are restricted mostly by how we are thinking.
And now you remind me of the story. I had promised to give this story.
That story, I want you to give it at the end.
Yeah. I think it's a very timely story for this.
Okay.
So our colleague, I still remember it was March 2006. He was an avid fan of Chelsea Football Club. And that evening, Chelsea was playing with one of the teams in Premier League. And I remember he used to go to Nairobi University to play football on Wednesdays in the evening. So I can still remember him carrying his rucksack and walking. And the following day, we were all waiting for him in the office because his team has thoroughly been thrashed, and he was one of the noisiest people about his team.
Yeah.
He didn't come at 9, 10, 11, 12. He walks in. He was a loud guy, and he walks in through the door and says, if this is what the doctors are telling him, then he doesn't have long to live. You know, we all rushed to his desk. And it was like, wow. That evening, he had such a sharp pain in his tummy.
Oh, no.
And they had to rush. He could hardly breathe. They rushed him to hospital, and the diagnosis was he had stage 4 liver cancer.
Oh, no.
I mean, it was unbelievable. He's a young guy, and this is the guy, energetic guy who was going to play football yesterday. I mean, how can it be? You know, it doesn't make sense. Anyway, that was March. July 2020, July the same year, we were in Budalangi to bury him. And when we went there, we understood why so many people used to come to our office asking for him. Because on that day we realized that the mother had 10 sons.
10?
10 sons, him included. He was the last born. And on that particular day, she was burying the 9th son.
Oh no.
And all these elder brothers who had passed on, they had left widows and children. And guess who was the breadwinner?
Oh my gosh.
He was a breadwinner. We used to enjoy him. You know these jokes we play in the office? You know, your constituents are here, you know. We understood he was playing a fundamental role in that family. And he had written in his beneficiary form that if anything would happen to him, he was only 39, we should divide his benefits into 4. His wife, his mother, his son, and his daughter. His daughter was probably in nursery, his son was probably standard 4, and the old lady back in Budalangi who now had to look after all these widows and orphans needed support.
This is an enemy of
Don't just bring it the way it is. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Just bring it the way it is. Okay. So in his beneficiary form, he had indicated if anything would happen to him, let's divide his benefits into 4: his wife, his mother, his son, and his daughter. The son was around, I think, doing standard 4, and his daughter was literally starting school in nursery. Young family. The old lady had all this line of children that he had been supporting now, or looking up to him. So we sat down as a team. You know, now we have new insights about the family. And like, what do we do? We're like, you know, for the 2 kids, for sure we are going to put together trusts for them to take care of their education and everything. It wasn't a lot of money, but it was a decent money then. But this lady is the one who troubled us the most. We're like, if we send this old lady this money, people will know she has money, they might even kill her. So we called them to the office and he said, we recommend trusts for these 2 minors, but we would also want to do a trust for the old lady so that we can dedicate this for education for these children and the children back in Budalangi. And she graciously said yes. And for the wife, we sent her money and she was able to go and do something extremely meaningful for the family. That was 2006. We are in 2024. Those 3 trusts are still alive. And the money that the father left behind, our colleague, is still intact plus more.
Wow.
Plus more.
Plus more. And using the interest that we created, because I remember sitting down and saying, this boy, this young man will finish high school this year. From here, they'll go, remember I used to have 2 years of gap before you join public university. 2-year gap, we'll make sure he goes to maybe Strathmore, and from there they go to public university, do their degree. This young man, he finished university, he finished college, finished university, came interned at our office.
Finished primary.
His son interned in your office?
Yes, interned in our office, and was of course a major, and still now he holds the trust with us because it is as if the father is still alive.
Imagine.
This thing educated him, paid for his everything, and it is more than what the father left behind. The young girl just finished high school not too long ago. She still has her portfolio intact as if her father is still alive. The old lady, would write checks, and I'm telling you, it was not a lot of money. But in a term, one of the moments I used to look forward to is in January or at the beginning of every term. And I'm signing a check of like 400, 500K to go and pay school fees. And she has educated all those kids. They are all independent. Unfortunately, she passed on this year. What am I saying? This was the thing that led to not only my transformation, but the transformation of Nabo. Because I said, why would I have to do this for someone who is dead? We're saying make money, earn money while you're doing. Him is making money while he's dead.
Wow.
Why can't we make this? Why can't we be able to do for our clients where they make money while they're still living? But doing what they love the most. And that's how we ended up with investing with purpose. So why have they been able to achieve all that? Compounding. We have not used the principle that was left by the father behind. We have not even used all the fruits of the principle. We have used the grandchildren to educate the children.
If the father was to come back to life,
yes,
the principle is untouched.
Untouched.
Apart from what you gave to his wife.
No, it is more. Yes, apart from what we gave to the
apart
wife. Sorry, I've understood your question. Yes.
So, and the kids from class 4, that boy went to school.
Yes.
To finish in even coming and interning at Nabo.
Imagine.
Yes.
The girl, it is from kindergarten.
Yes.
And now she can start and still have these fruits.
Yes. And this is a portfolio, a trust that these kids can now, I'm sure they are now, like the young man is at a marrying stage, possibly. It can also educate his children now.
He can add to it also.
He can add to it, and it can also educate his children.
And
pass it on. That is a heritage. I'm telling you, I've made billions of shillings. But this one satisfies me in an extremely personal way. And that, to me, is what we are all about. This is what we are all about, Rina. This is what we are all about as investment professionals.
You know,
actually, my personal mission, sorry to interrupt you, is to help people get to the place where we are financially secure and free. For me, African families getting to the place where we have financial freedom, where we're not constantly stressed and wondering. Because you end up being at the base level where we're just thinking about our next meal, our
survival.
Fees, survival. Well, that's not living. That's not living. And if we continue in that way, we never, I was watching a video the other day of guys, I don't know what even the video is about. I just remember seeing guys scrambling, I don't know, for gold. I'm just like, we have such huge resources on this continent, but we're scrambling for food. What are we doing? Why can't we get to the place where we just apply basic principles, all of us, slowly, having long-term view, thinking about our future and not just our food tomorrow, and putting aside every day, and our lives will be transformed. Not just us and our little families and our picket fence, like we said earlier, but generations to come.
Exactly.
You know, as both of you have spoken, I feel like we are now, I can see the tasks to make it. Welcome to Mombasa. This has been such an amazing drive. When I asked the question in the beginning of this series, I asked it with intention to understand if it's possible. I also asked the two of you to come here because this whole year, if you look at this channel, we've been having these conversations around money. Because also for myself, I'm trying to get to that place where wealth is redefined, where the hustle is redefined. And I've seen a lot of progress in my own life. Number two, to anybody who's listening to this, if you want to know about the two people who've seated here,
Who've sat?
You have sat. No, who seated here? What I mean, you have sat here before. On something called the Playhouse. Both of you have come to share your own personal life story. Forget just about education about the different, giving us financial literacy, education about finances and different things. On the Playhouse, Pius has come and sat for another close to 20 hours to give his life story. Rina the same. And I say that's important because of where integrity comes in. People can get to understand your character because that is then passed on into the business and into what it is that you do. And why am I saying that? Because they need to do the due diligence on you. And the reason why is because I want you guys to talk about products. I want you to speak about, okay, fine, from a Nabo Capital perspective, what product do you offer people? We need people to hold our hand. This has to be collaborative. There's a point of this journey where it's very clear this is a lot of work and we need the professionals to do it. You've also come to class in session. Rina has done a series on Kingdom, investing in Kingdom.
Kingdom principles.
Pre-Kingdom principles. She's also done one on investing in global markets. Paz has also come for class in session where you've had a conversation about investing with purpose. That's more research people can do and find out about these different things that you have to offer. But in case somebody just wants to hear it from watching this video, Paz, I'll start with you. I've heard all this. I'm ready. I'm good to go. I have assets that are idle. I have all these different things. Can people come to you? Can they come to Nabo? And what's the way in which they can start moving from watching this on a screen to actually getting to the place where their money is working for them while they are alive and even maybe after they leave this earth?
That we are in a window of restarting. We are in a window of rebirthing. Why rebirthing, why restarting is because how we have done things before. It has been chaotic, it's been messy, it's been without direction, it's been without any strategy. We need to start again. We need to start this journey of investing again. And today I want to just invite people who are listening, no matter where you have been or you are in this investment journey, whether you have lost money or whether you have had a decent success, just consider today as a restart where you rethink everything afresh with a new mindset. And there are a couple of principles we've said, pay yourself first. Why are we paying ourselves first? It's important that we buy back our time so that we can get to do what we love to do every single day of the year. I've just given a story of one of my clients who is still making money even though they are dead. But I don't want to work for people who have gone. I primarily want to work for people who are still living because we can celebrate these victories. So the first and foremost thing that I would want to advise people, make sure you open a money market fund account. This is not optional. A bank account, leave the money that you need for transaction, to pay bills and everything, leave that in your bank account. But the money that you have set aside to pay yourself, make sure you are very swift to sweep it in a money market fund. That is where you will pack it before you come and we talk about your bigger plans. So first and foremost, make sure you open a money market account. That's a clear call to action for me. As your money is accumulating in the money market fund, you come to Nabo, we'll introduce you to something we call investing with purpose. Now, I keep saying this, at Nabo we don't sell products. We don't even like selling products. We are like doctors. We listen, we diagnose, and then we prescribe. We prescribe a solution that is specifically tailored for you, because even though many people are investing in money market fund, you're coming from different financial circumstances. So we need to be sensitive to your financial circumstances. So number one, money market fund, you start earning now, and you'll be able to track how much money that you have put aside. Now, when we start talking about investing with purpose, then the key thing that we'll be aiming for is to buy back your time, is to redeem your time, is to free your time from hustling, from having to sell your time so that you can pay bills. And the first place we will start with is lifestyle. I don't care whether you are a billionaire or you are just starting life, or you live in the slum. All of you are the same. Everybody has what you call basic essentials. And these basic essentials mean if you didn't have your job today, and if you didn't have, or if your business came to a standstill, and you may be running a very successful business, if your business was disrupted like the way COVID disrupted our businesses, would you be able to maintain the same lifestyle that you have today? And if you cannot answer that question quite clearly because you need money coming into your bank account from other sources, then we'll have to set up something we call a lifestyle portfolio. Now, for one person, 50,000 bob in a month may be adequate, another 20,000 in a month may be adequate, another one 300,000 shillings in a month is what they need to survive in a month. So we'll be able to establish that in a lifestyle portfolio. And then we say, how much do you need in your portfolio, or your first portfolio, which is a lifestyle portfolio, to be able to pay or to give you 300,000 or 100,000 or 20,000 a month as you may wish. Now, what that will do, it will help to secure your flow. So that if the worst thing ever happened to you, where your incomes are suddenly disrupted, you will never lack food, you will never lack clothing, you will never lack shelter.
And Wi-Fi.
And Wi-Fi. Your basic essentials. And you can wake up tomorrow and say, I'm willing to start life all over again. I'm looking at life afresh. But I know my bills are paid, my kids are going to school, and everything is. So that will be our starting point, a lifestyle portfolio. The second, once we are done with that, we'll take you to the next level, which is a security portfolio. You see, we understand that life is unpredictable. Life has what you call big disruptors. Big disruptors of life. And one of the big disruptors of life is actually education. We pay school fees through our nose, and we want to give our children the best education. Unfortunately, we pay for education, or we pay school fees during the prime of our careers.
Yeah.
And therefore, if that is the only thing we do, we miss the opportunity to secure our future. And we tend to touch our lifestyle portfolio to pay for school fees. So how do we create a fence, a ring fence around your lifestyle portfolio so that it is safe? So then we probably will start an education fund for your children. I have given an example in the previous videos of how one of our colleagues has been able to educate his children even after he passed on, just through a simple education plan. The other one is home ownership. If it is home, some people, 1 million shilling may be enough, others 10 million, others whatever amount, will sit together and say, do you have a plan to own a home? Okay, fine. How do we make sure you do that without borrowing and paying extremely exorbitant interest rates? How do we make sure that you do that comfortably and without touching your lifestyle portfolio? Again, we are protecting your lifestyle portfolio. Okay? That's another one. The third one that I am very passionate about in your security portfolio is emergency fund. I've had a sick person in ICU, and I remember every single day you are being billed 500,000, 500,000 shilling every single day. Even if you had the best medical cover and that person stays in hospital for 100 days, that's 50 million. And you still don't know the end of it. So anybody can experience this. The number one cause for family bankruptcies is medical bills. And that's why you have so many contributions going around, because people need help. And our insurance covers are not even able to take care of that. So how do we put aside something that will help you where if you ever reach the end of your medical cover, something else can step in. So now, when you have your lifestyle portfolio and a security portfolio, if you've accomplished those two things, I officially say you've entered financial independence. Because you can literally leave work, you can, if your boss is insulting you, you can say, thank you very much, let's shake hands, I just want us to remain good friends, and walk away in peace. That is what I call true financial freedom. But from there, we kick into the third one, which we call aspirational portfolio. I believe life is to be enjoyed. I believe life, God meant us not to just live life, but to have it in abundance. So, in your aspirational portfolio is where now we start upgrading your life. You're like, okay, I have driven Toyota for so long. I have earned the right to drive a sports Range Rover. But you don't drive a sports Range Rover and tomorrow you're in poverty. You know, you've covered your bases. You've covered your bases. You can drive the car that you like. You can buy your second home. You can upgrade your home, move from one side of town to the leafy green suburbs. You can upgrade your life. But very quickly also realize something else. That life is not just about you. Even when you have billions of shillings, you can only eat one plate of food at a time. You can only drive one car. Even if you have 10 of them, it's only one car you can drive at a time. And that no longer satisfies you. You realize you need to leave impact. And to leave impact, you need to touch people's lives. And that's where our philanthropic agenda comes in. See, I have some clients who say, buyers, I have all those things done, but I'm passionate about young people with brilliant ideas. Can you put together a portfolio for me? And everything that comes from this portfolio, I want you to fund ideas. And I know 9 out of 10 will fail, but that one that will succeed is the reason I have set up this particular portfolio. You're helping people, and you're touching. I have seen this thing completely transform people's life. Philanthropy. So that's where now you get. You are living beyond. You're living beyond for a place where you just live for yourself and your children. You're impacting society. You're putting up libraries in places where there is even no electricity. That is amazing impact. Once we establish that, the next thing is we will look at is legacy. And legacy, there are 2 questions that will help you to answer. Who will inherit you, and how will they inherit you? And I know in the African culture, we have this assumption that our children will inherit us. I have built this massive empire. I can't wait for my children to come and run it. In my short investment career, I've spent a lot of time with senior citizens. I've learned something very interesting. All of them, or most of them, have this dilemma. They either don't believe their children have the capacity and capability to continue doing what they have been doing, or to run the empire they have established, or their children are capable but they are not interested at all. And I add my third one, I have also discovered my children have their own purposes and inclinations which may not align with mine. So I don't want to tie down my children to what I have been doing. There is a lot to explore in the world. So I've learned to separate assets from children. and what they only need is really cash flows. So can we put together a structure like a family trust that can transcend me, transcend my children, and my children's children? It will serve so many people. So you have a legacy. You know, like this example you were giving about my colleague. He's done, even though he's dead, he's done educating his next generation. That portfolio is still alive. It is now ready to serve the third generation from him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Imagine that transcending those generations. That's really legacy. And if you come, and we will not be limited to just serving you with the products that we have. I may reach out to my colleague, Rina, and say, I can see you have an amazing product, and I think it can serve my customer. That is all I'm interested in. So us at Nabo Capital, we are all about helping you to achieve your purpose. And just to finish off, I have one mission and one mission only. How can I get you to retire as quickly as possible? As quickly as possible, so that you can get to do what you love to do every single day of the year. And I mean, to retire here does not mean you stop working, but you buy back your time. You get back your time so that you can choose what to do with it every single day of the year. That's my call to everyone who's listening to me, and I look forward to welcoming you at Nabo Capital when you come. See you there.
Wow. If you've just watched that, the details, the contact details for reaching out to Nabo Capital are on the screen. Perhaps, you know, sometimes when we do these videos, there's such an influx of people that call at once. You get? So I want to assure them that you will get in touch with them.
Yeah.
If you call and the phone is engaged because maybe a couple of people are calling and the switchboards are all handled, let's say 100 people call at the same time. The email is there. They can email and somebody will get back to them.
Absolutely.
Somebody will get back to them. But if they even want, they can come and visit.
Yes.
Where are your premises?
Thank you. We are located in the heart of the CBD, International House, the safest building in the city, on 5th floor, Nabo Capital. And I also want to advise, please come with your ID, because they are very keen on making sure that everybody who comes has an ID, so that we care about our customers, not to be inconvenienced. Not to be
because of that ID
inconvenienced.
story. Yeah.
But it's all about safety.
Yeah, security is necessary. I like it.
Yes, yes.
That's important.
So
International Lifehouse,
5th floor.
5th floor.
And listen, again, another thing that I forgot to mention. You see, sometimes they may call and the people who are reaching out are from the diaspora. Because I know you do have, maybe the diaspora person is doing a lifestyle portfolio, but not for them, but for their dependents who are back home. So they want to open on behalf of saying, let the interest be going to their dependents. So again, when they come there, what happens? They have a relationship manager then again who will begin to...
Absolutely. In fact, I'd say we are quite an unconventional firm, because we do not have a reception. When you enter, you meet our financial advisors straight up. So you begin your journey of investment the moment your foot gets into through the door.
Yes.
And you'll meet our financial advisors. Also, we have our independent financial advisors who will handhold you. We believe in personalized selling. Remember, we are about solutions. We listen, we diagnose, we prescribe, so that we help you to achieve your purpose, your objective. And most important, to redeem your time.
Redeem your time.
To redeem your time.
I love this. Last one, just before I move into Rina, it's important that I let you at least, you've talked a lot and shared with us. These are not just solutions that you have for individuals.
No.
You have these solutions, these same solutions that you're tailor making and offering individuals. You can also offer to corporates.
Absolutely, and I'm so happy that you've actually brought that up. Everything that we said here are fundamental principles of investing. And therefore, they are irrespective of individuals or corporate. Even in a company, if you want to see a sustainable business, you must put together, and some of the videos I've done about how we've run Nabo Capital, being able to put together a portfolio that is able to take us through difficult season. And we saw, it saved us during COVID. We did not fire anyone. We did not retrench anyone. In fact, we hired more people, even though we were not reporting in the office. And that's because we have been following these same principles of finances. Make sure you pay yourself first, so you also pay. The organization pays itself first. Put some money aside. And that money also goes through multiplication. And it is compounding until one day you look at it and like, okay, we can pay all our expenses using this thing without even one customer coming through the door.
So you have a fight.
So institutions, we have quite a good number of institutional customers, and we also welcome them, and not just them to come to, we come to your office. Give us a call, we'll come to your office.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all the details are there. I've shared them, and if you've not seen them on the screen, you can go into the comments of each and every single video. You will see Nabo's contact details there. Nabo has a YouTube channel that you can also go and watch. So all of these details are there.